On NewsHour tonight. Mixed reactions trail drop in price of local rice across Nigerian markets. Governor Zulum appeals for a deployment of troops to affected communities following Kirawa attack. Wike appeals for calm as heaps of refuse litter FCT metropolis. And on the foreign scene, police quiz 6 after a fatal synagogue attack in northwestern Manchester. Good evening, this is NewsHour on Trust TV. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Mixed reactions have continued to trail the recent drop in the price of locally produced rice across Nigerian markets. While many residents welcome the development, others blame the high cost of fertilizer and transportation, urging the government to re-strategize to improve the living conditions of ordinary citizens. In this report, Trust TV's Adamu Imam visited the Muda Lawal market in Bauchi to assess the level of patronage for local rice. His report.
At the rice section of the Muda Lawal market in Bauchi, the situation shows that many Nigerians, especially low-income earners, are rushing to buy local rice while the price remains relatively low. Dealers attributed the drop in price to a bumper harvest recorded by farmers during the last farming season. We want the government to reduce the price of fertilizer so that we can make profit from rice production. We spent a lot during the farming season, but when you compare the cost of production to the profit after harvest, there's really nothing to write home about. Honestly, we are not happy with the drop in the price of rice at this time.
I bought this rice at a particular rate, hoping to make some profits, but the cost of transportation from the market to where I sell to final consumers is a big concern. We are appealing to the government to address the issue of fuel prices so that the cost of living can come down. I believe that's the way to move the country forward.
Even though we are enjoying the current price, farmers remain a vital part of the rice value chain. The authorities should revisit issues relating to the price of fertilizer and other farm inputs to ensure steady growth and development in the sector. On the other hand, some residents express appreciation for the price reduction but appeal to the government to also address the rising cost of fertilizer and transportation, which they say continue to affect food price in general. We appreciate the current market situation for local rice. We buy it at the price ranging from 1,100 to 1,250, depending on the quality. Even the ones that look like imported rice are now sold for about 1,500 naira. Very clean, stone-free, and ready to eat. We have started witness a bumper harvest of rice, and we are hopeful that things will improve soon to tackle food insecurity in the country. More importantly, the government should provide fertilizer subsidies for everyone so that ordinary people can farm and have enough food at home. That's how things can truly get better. Many farmers, however, fear they may incur losses despite their huge investment in rice cultivation throughout the farming season. They are therefore calling on the government to urgently intervene in fertilizer pricing and agricultural support policies. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
The people of Turan in Kwande local government area of Benue State have staged a protest to demand the withdrawal of military personnel from the area over alleged attacks on mourners, which left 4 persons dead, including 2 students. Eyewitnesses say the tragic incident occurred when some mourners were intercepted by soldiers on their way back from the burial of a traditional ruler. They alleged that the security operatives had demanded money to escort the family of the late traditional ruler due to the volatile security situation, but when the request was declined, some youths volunteered to provide the escort themselves. Our correspondent in the state tells us more in this report.
Tuesday's controversial killing of 2 students and 2 mourners by soldiers in Kwande local government area of Benue State has continued to generate outrage, with women taking to the streets of Jatoka to register their displeasure. The protesting women, in tears, took their grievances to the Kwande, as well as to appointees of the governor and the deputy commissioner of police during a meeting in Jatoka demanding the immediate withdrawal of Nigerian army troops from the area. The Kwande, political leaders and other prominent indigenes of the area called for the withdrawal of the military and the setting up of a commission of inquiry to investigate the actions of the soldiers.
We have just one simple request. Withdraw these soldiers and give us more mobile and more policemen. And we are not asking too much. After all, soldiers are never trained to live with people in town. And since they are not willing to go to the bush to fight, then let them return to their barracks.
We are here mourning the death of one of the kindred heirs. Shortly after the interment, it was at the point that both our youths, after the soldiers refused to give us that assistance, even when they demanded that we should give them some money, yes, about 1 million naira. So we demanded that, okay, we will give them about 450,000. They say no, they can't go to that place. So when these people were coming back, these are our youths, then they now attack, the soldiers attack them and hold 2 of them. So the other people run away because at that instance, the soldiers shoot at one of the youth and kill him instantly. That is Yosu Abu. Because of the shot of that youth, so many people were scared and started running helter-skelter to India for safety. And so, right there and then, the other soldiers that were there started shooting sporadically and to scare away people. In the process, that was how the students that came out from the schools, both the primary schools and the secondary schools, were going. And it was in this attempt that some of them received some bullets. 2 youths, 2 students died instantly. So the other people that survived various forms of injuries, some of them are even still in the hospitals.
What I have heard and what I've seen in my community of Jatoka, where young girls and young children were killed without provocation by the Nigerian army, is totally unacceptable. And this act cannot go free. The military hierarchy will set up an inquiry into this issue, and these soldiers that perpetrated this act must be held accountable.
A teacher who survived the incident narrated his experience.
So I quickly rushed to the place. I only take a glance look at my student lying on the ground in a distance, or making all possible ways that I can get hold of her. I was unable because I was denied access. They nearly shoot me, claiming nobody has audacity or time to go to the nearby students. They shot them almost 3 there, and the other guy ran to his house while they picked the remaining 2. They deny access. They deny both the parents, the teachers, and the general public the access.
The Deputy Commissioner of Police, Wosu Asuko, appealed for calm, assuring that investigations into the killings have commenced.
I want to start by saying that investigation is ongoing. I don't want to preempt the outcome of the investigation. And if the security personnel use excessive force, which is against their rules of engagement, I think the appropriate agency will do the right thing in terms of sanction.
On Wednesday, however, aggrieved youth launched a violent protest in Jatoka, setting ablaze the residence and office of the third-class chief, Mwete Chongu, Chief Simon Bave.
Over in Borno State, the governor, Babagana Zulum, has appealed to the Nigerian army to conduct renewed operations in Kirawa community following a recent attack that displaced thousands of residents. The governor made the appeal on Friday during a visit to the community in Goza local government area, where he led government officials to commiserate with the people after 2 persons were killed and thousands fled to the Cameroon border for safety. Governor Zulum called on the federal government and military authorities to redeploy troops to key border communities in the state, including Kirewa, Wolgu, Baga, Damasak, and Malam Faturi. He also announced plans to provide basic social amenities such as a hospital, water facilities, and schools to support the people of Kirewa community.
Within the shortest possible period, the Nigerian army will deploy soldiers to Kirawa town. This is one measure. The second measure that we have undertaken is in the areas of providing support to our gallant civilian gentry hunters and vigilantes. We have listened to them and we have provided all the requirements needed to safeguard the town.
Still in Borno State, Deputy Governor Usman Kadafur says recent attacks on Karawa community and other areas will not derail the state government's commitment to sustaining peace and stability. He made this known when he received members of the House of Representatives Committee on Insurance and Actuarial Matters who paid a courtesy visit to the government house in Maiduguri. The Deputy Governor explained that despite the challenges and destruction caused by insurgency, the state government has rebuilt several affected communities through its resettlement initiatives and strengthened the resilience of the people. He added that the achievements recorded in the fight against terrorism will not be allowed to threaten the peace and development agenda being consolidated by the administration of Governor Babagana Zulum in this post-insurgency era.
But we have attacks in the fringes of villages around the metropolis and the state capital. And, even if one life is lost, we have to show great concern for the life. But alhamdulillah, a lot of our communities have been settled, but we're still experiencing some challenges. But the prayers, inshallah, will regain the form of peace and hospitality.
The impression out there, Your Excellency, as you are aware, is that Borno is a war zone. And for those of us that are conversant with the reality and what is obtainable in Borno today, under the distinguished leadership of His Excellency, Engineer Professor Babagana Zulum, we know Borno is a home of emerging peace and hospitality.
An Abuja-based veterinary doctor and former chairman of the Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association FCT chapter, Dr. Ifeanyi Obu, has been killed by suspected kidnappers who whisked away his 3 children. It was guarded that the deceased residence in Kubwa district along the Kubwa-Kaduna road was invaded on Friday night by the gunmen. They abducted him alongside his 3 children and later dumped his body by the roadside. Dr. Obu's death was confirmed by Andrew Gabriel Ikechukwu via his Facebook page, noting that the corpse of the deceased was found on the roadside. Obu was described as a dedicated professional who left behind a nursing wife and grieving family members. Colleagues and friends have expressed shock at the killing, describing it as a devastating loss to both his family and the veterinary profession. The FCT Police Command is yet to issue a statement on the incident. The Nigerian Police Force says it's yet to be served with the order of the Federal High Court stopping the enforcement of tinted glass permits. Force Public Relations Officer CSP Benjamin Hundeyin disclosed this on Saturday by reacting to reports that the court had restrained the police from arresting or prosecuting motorists over tinted glasses. A federal high court had on Friday granted an order directing the police to suspend enforcement of the permits pending the determination of the substantive case. But Hundeyin on X said that police had not been formally served. The clarification followed claims by human rights lawyer Inibehe Efyong, who had circulated a portion of the ruling restraining the police from enforcing the regulation. The police had in April 2023 announced a resumption of the permit scheme under the Police Specialized Services Automation Project after suspending it in 2022. In Jigawa, State Governor Umar Namadi has formally flagged off an empowerment program for 1,400 women engaged in the cap embroidery business. The event took place at the banquet hall of the Government House, Dutse, as part of the state government's determination to provide more jobs through skills acquisition. The report.
The initiative, implemented under the State Agency for Youth Empowerment and Employment, led by Director General Dr. Habibi Ubali Kenya, targets women drawn from the 7 local government areas within the Dutse Emirates. In her opening remark, the Commissioner for Women Affairs, Hajia Hadiza Abdulwahab, described the program as a bold step towards strengthening women's economic independence and improving household livelihood across the state.
Traditional Catholicism living is more than just a craft. It is a testament to cultural heritage and an art form that has been passed down through the ages, often from mother to daughter, and sustained by the hands of a skilled artisan.
Governor Namadi said the intervention aims to revive a generational craft, boost productivity, and reduce poverty. Each of the 1,400 beneficiaries received a complete set of embroidery tools and a cash token to support their businesses. The governor further revealed that plans are underway to establish 2 production clusters that will help organize the trade, expand market access, and transform the local crafts into a valuable industry.
But we need to modernize it. We need to empower these people so that they can do it much more than what it is happening today. So we felt it is important to give them all the material that is required for knitting and also give them a working capital. What we are trying to do is to encourage them. A woman that is doing only 1 in a month or 1 in a 2 months, now will be able to do 5 to 10 within a month. So with that, we are trying to put them into a poster and then we create an industry for them.
And the slogan of this administration, part of it is, let's use Jigawa state money in Jigawa. So we are here empowering our own local businesses, small entrepreneurs, big entrepreneurs and medium ones, so that they can come up there, we can consume what we are producing. So we are trying now to bring them up, as you've seen today. We have empowered them. At least a woman that is doing 1 cap can do at least straightforward 3 set of caps materials.
Some of the beneficiaries expressed gratitude, noting that the support will go a long way in improving their livelihood and helping them cater for their families.
Most youth development initiatives in Nigeria focus on empowering young people through education, skills, trading, and access to economic opportunities to help empower for a better future. To advance this goal, the Bilad Development Trust has held its annual event under its Youth Development Initiative. Aisha Abdulmimunu tells us more in this report.
Hosted by Bilad Development Trust, the annual event focused on empowering individuals and enlightening society with the aim of identifying and sponsoring outstanding talents across various fields. Now, in its 4th edition, the event brought together participants who showcased their innovative ideas and creative presentations. Some of them expressed appreciation for the platform and reaffirmed their commitment to initiating positive change in the society.
And I noticed that what if I go into the past and bring out things that can solve real life problems in Nigeria right now, and I picked out 3 problems like economic hardship, insecurity and corruption. Then I went back to history and I saw that I could use a Kumeku model of security to solve security. The Aba women could solve corruption, and also economic hardship. We could use the National War Dog Coalition. That's the group, the body that makes sure that exploiters do not go unpunished, and that was my motivation for my presentation.
We are trying to drive home the fact that Nigeria is our own and we should own it, just like the way the several presenters today, or the several, how will I call it, speakers today have spoken. Nigeria is our own. We are the only ones who have the power to control it and make it into what we want it to be. So basically, as we are still in the season of independence, we are trying to tell the whole world, we are trying to tell Nigerians that Nigeria is all that we have, so we should jointly put hands together and lift Nigeria up. We are the only ones with the ability to do that and portray our country as the giant of Africa that it is.
I'm praying that Nigeria should be great in the future, but there are some certain things that we have to adjust. One of the things is that we, the youth, you have to put it in our mind that yes, we can make it, and we are proud of the nation Nigeria. Without doing so, we cannot go anywhere. Because if you have something in our mind that yes, I want to change something, then you can change it with all what you have. Or when you put it in your mind that me, I can't do this thing, then you can't do that.
Team Reboots Nigeria echoes from the past, vision of the future. This edition serves as this year's finale, emphasizing advocacy, change, and entrepreneurship. Speaking to Trust TV, the coordinating trustee of Billard's Development Trust, Dr. Sadiq Abdullahi, said the platform has over the years empowered millions of women and sponsored numerous children, helping individuals channel their potentials towards developmental change.
Every day we talk about fixing Nigeria, we talk about young people only. And I have a message for people who are 40s, 50s, and 60s, so people who benefited from a Nigeria that was glorious. And my message is GSM. Legacy of guardianship. Whatever people who are in leadership positions benefited, at the minimum, they should preserve and other people should benefit, and at the best, they should improve. So G. S, legacy of service. If we find ourselves in position, whether it's political position, as captains of industry, etc., right, it's for advancement of humanity. It's not for us to build big houses in our villages or take our wives abroad to have children so they have American passports, right? So legacy of service. Then finally, M, legacy of meritocracy. There are a lot of, I almost went to tears earlier on when one young woman was making her presentation. There are a lot of brilliant people in Nigeria. In order for us to reverse the Jackpot syndrome, we have to present them with opportunities. The reason why they are leaving is because they feel their intelligence or their brilliance is going to waste. So as leaders, while we continue hammering on young people to be productive, we should also embrace the legacy of guardianship, service, and meritocracy, so that once young people are available to serve Nigeria, to work, to unleash their energy, we should handhold them, insert them in opportunities, not just our children. The son of a nobody, as long as he's smart, he's committed, and he's disciplined, should be able to become something in this country.
High point of the event was the presentation of prizes to winners across different categories. Aisha Abdulmuminu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And Oyo State High Court sitting in Ibadan has granted an interim injunction in an ex parte motion brought by the elected chairman in Osun State, restraining UBA from paying, releasing or tampering with funds deposited in the 30 local government accounts. Justice Ladinro Akintola gave the ruling at the sitting in Ibadan, where he agreed that matter required urgent judicial intervention. The claimants, led by Sarafuddin Awotunde and 5 others on behalf of all the 30 council chairmen and councillors in Osun State, argued that unless the court intervened urgently, the funds could be dissipated illegally by the ousted APC chairman, causing irreparable harm to the lawful administrations of the councils. Justice Akintola then adjourned hearing of the substantive motion on notice for interlocutory injunction tonight, October 2025.
The only other issue that came up, which took some time, because if that's the only thing which we took, we would have left a long time ago, has to do with the issue of not extending the order which was made ex parte. And the courts, after taking the arguments, the court was of the view that it will extend it pending the determination of all applications or the one which we filed challenging the jurisdiction of the court on the 9th. And he adjourned to that date.
Well, the crux of this matter is the need to safeguard the rest, the money in issue, pending the determination of the matter before the Supreme Court. So we're lawyers, we do our best, we argue here and there, but no lawyer will tell you emphatically or absolutely that this is what the judgment of the court is going to be. We all do our best and try to see it on our side. And our contention is that, look, even the people that paid the money, they knew that the matter is pending before the Supreme Court, and they should have given the Supreme Court that respect, which I told you that it has not been fixed for October 7. So this will have given the Supreme Court that respect. Hold on to the money, let the Supreme Court speak. Then everybody will be happy.
National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) has destroyed 15 billion naira worth of fake, expired and substandard pharmaceutical products in Ibadan, Oyo State. The destruction exercise took place at the Money or Dump site and was witnessed by top security agencies and regulatory bodies. Represented by NAFDAC Director of Investigation and Enforcement, Martins Iloyomade, NAFDAC's Director General Professor Mojisola Adeyeye said NAFDAC, as lead agency and chair of the Federal Task Force on Fake and Counterfeit Drugs and Unwholesome Processed Foods, is resolutely committed towards ensuring that foods, drugs, cosmetics, medical devices, chemical, packaged water and drinks are safe, wholesome and effective for human consumption. Adeyeye emphasized that the agency is committed to ensuring the safety and efficacy of food, drugs and cosmetics in Nigeria. She therefore urged stakeholders to educate their families and wards about dangers of patronizing quacks and unauthorized medicine dealers.
Around March, we did a massive destruction all over the country of fake and substandard medicines that we caught from open market operation. And you imagine that's almost 140 containers that were there. This is another set of almost 80 containers that we are doing in batches. So the more we do this, the more we are inflicting a kind of injury on the people because it's resources and who are doing it. And then the more they will have a change of mind that you can do genuine business and still make money healthily without compromising the health and adding to the health burden of your fellow countrymen. 15 billion is a lot of money. And that's just for this 11 containers and other things that are here. I told you we're still going to 80. So we're doing them in batches.
In Kebbi State, the State Police Command had the weekend said it has killed 3 members of the Lakurawa group, while several others escaped to the forest with fatal gunshot wounds at Gurunyama, a community in Dandi local government area in the state. Released by the command's public relations officer, CSP nephew Abubakar, said the police engaged the terror group in fierce gun duel, which lasted for hours and killed 3 of the terror group when they invaded the community. It also added that one unregistered red Honda motorcycle, also known as Boko Haram, was recovered from the fleeing terror group. The release said the State Commissioner of Police, Bello M. Sani, commended the DPO Kamba and his team for their diligence, bravery and swift response. He urged them to sustain the existing synergy amongst them with a view to curbing the emerging activities of Lakurawa terror group and other violent crimes in the state. You're still on to News Hour on Trust TV. When we return from the break, we'll take a look at journalism as a tool for development. Please do stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now a recap of our top stories. We told you that mixed reactions trail drop in price of local rice across Nigerian markets. We also informed you that in Borno State, Governor Zulum has appealed for redeployment of troops to affected communities following Kirawa attack. 2 more stories. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Yesom Wike, has appealed to residents to exercise patience with the growing heaps of refuse littering strategic locations across the territory. Wike made the appeal during an inspection of ongoing road projects in Uye District and Kuje Area Council. The minister acknowledged the inconvenience caused by the delay in waste evacuation, explaining that the contract for refuse collection had expired. He assured that within 2 weeks, new contractors would be assigned to resume the clearing of refuse across the city.
It's been a major problem. We have to be already removing all the refuse that have been dumped. You just ask yourself. And the problem we have is that we believe in the next 2 weeks, the contract will be formally awarded for the refuse disposal. So that I can tell you, that will help us quite a lot. Even in the city, there's no contract. The one that was there before came all expired, but everything is being done to see that.
and not just giving out this contract. Most of them don't have the capacity. I call them political contractors. So we do everything to see that only those who are competent, those who have equipment to claim to do refuse disposal, give it. Just be patient with us. We are not happy. We are doing everything to see that to them.
The Daily Trust Foundation, the corporate social responsibility arm of the Media Trust Group, has signed a memorandum of understanding with Bayero University, Kano, on the continuous training of journalists in Nigeria. The partnership aims to strengthen journalism education, promote professional development, and sustain quality reporting across the country. Ibrahim Abdulaziz tells us more in this report.
At the office of the Vice-Chancellor, Bayero University, Kano, representatives of the institution and the Daily Trust Foundation put pen to paper, formalizing a collaboration on continuous training of media practitioners. Chairman of the foundation, Bilia Bala, said the agreement focuses on 4 key areas.
The validation of training content, which we want you to do that for us. We want you to review our modules, courses, and say, yes, you are on the right track. And then we will share resources. Already, I think we have done so. Some of your lecturers have participated. They have been in our newsroom. So we have been doing that. We want to do more of that. And then we talk of future collaborations.
He recalled that since 2017, the Daily Trust Foundation, with the support of the MacArthur Foundation, has trained over 2,000 journalists across Nigeria in fact-checking, budget tracking, data journalism, and investigative journalism.
Governments all over the world, if you don't hold them to account, they can go wild. And the only people that can do that and get away with it to a certain extent are the journalists. And if you don't have trained journalists to do it, you will only end up with brown envelope collectors.
He also revealed plans to establish the Daily Trust Digital Academy, which will provide journalists access to online training models designed to build their professional capacity. From the university side, the Director of Broadcasting Services, Professor Suleiman Yar Adua, noted that BUK has long collaborated with the Media Trust Group through internships and employment opportunities for students.
Annually, we do go there for first-hand experiences in their in-house work, and we come back with a lot of knowledge, which we share to our students. And so both the staff and the students have been benefiting from Daily Trust, the Daily Trust Foundation, and the training and the intern. So I think it is important that I told them that, okay, let's formalize this relationship.
Vice-Chancellor Professor Haruna Musa described the agreement as a mutually beneficial partnership that reinforces BUK's commitment to capacity building in investigative journalism.
We are fully optimistic and convinced that with vibrant investigative journalism framework in Nigeria, at least some of the excesses by the ruling class will be checkmated. And I therefore want to assure you that the university will continue to partner with you in this regard. We have been interfacing with Media Trust for quite some time. In fact, we have a long-standing relationship with Media Trust. However, there is a need for, as a matter of importance and as a matter of priority, to now make this engagement formal.
The event also featured a presentation of the Daily Trust Foundation profile by Bilia Bala to the Vice-Chancellor, marking a new phase in the long-standing relationship between the media organization and the university. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan has dismissed claims that he suggested former President Muhammadu Buhari had any connection with Boko Haram. Jonathan's clarification came in response to reports following his speech at the book launch of former Chief of Defense Staff Lucky Irabo, which some media outlets had misrepresented. In a statement signed by his spokesman, Ikechukwu Eze, Jonathan said at no time did Dr. Jonathan suggest, imply or insinuate that President Buhari had any connection with Boko Haram or that he supported the group in any form, noting that the former president's comments were grossly misrepresented. Jonathan explained that his remarks were intended to illustrate the manipulative tactics used by Boko Haram. Ibe noted that Jonathan's reference was to a well-documented episode when various individuals and factions falsely claimed to represent the terrorist group and purported to name prominent Nigerians as possible mediators without those individuals' knowledge or consent. He added that Boko Haram often exploited respected public figures to sow confusion. He concluded by affirming Buhari's and his own commitment to peace, adding that both men during their respective tenures shared a common commitment to restoring peace and stability to Nigeria. Amid a surge in deadly attacks by suspected Lakurawa bandits, residents of Kebe local government area in Sokoto State have called on the federal government to permit them to bear sophisticated weapons for self-defense. The residents, who voiced their anguish at a press conference held on Saturday at the Nigerian Union of Journalists Secretariat, Sokoto, say they can no longer endure the incessant killings and destruction of property by the marauding bandits led by Alhaji Adamu Kebe. The group accused both the state and local authorities of abandoning them to their fate, lamenting that the government's response to their plight has been slow and inadequate. They also urged the federal government to grant direct funding to local governments to enable them to equip local security outfits and respond swiftly to attacks. Security experts warn that the call for self-defense reflects a deepening loss of faith in state protection and highlights the urgency for the federal government to intervene decisively. The police command in Ondo State says it has now 10 suspects in connection with the attempted murder and armed robbery attack on Igoba community, a Akure North local government area in the state. DSP Olushola Ayonlade, the command spokesperson, made this known in a statement on Saturday in Akure. Ayonlade said the suspects were arrested following the attack on one Mrs. Ogunoye Oluomo and attempt to assassinate the community's traditional ruler Oba Adilewa John on October 2. According to him, on the said date, a group of hoodlums armed with firearms, knives, charms, and other dangerous weapons invaded Goba community with the intent to wreak havoc. The spokesperson explained that in the course of the suspect's violent activities, Uluomo was viciously attacked, injured, and dispossessed of her belongings. Ayolade said the assailants further advanced to the traditional ruler's palace in an attempt to assassinate him. Fortunately, John narrowly escaped the life-threatening assault. The Armed Forces of Nigeria on Saturday said it arrested 16 officers for alleged indiscipline and breach of service regulations. The military said investigations showed that the grievances of the arrested officers were linked to repeated failure in promotion examinations and perceived career stagnation. According to a statement by Director of Defense Information Brigadier General Tokoro Guso, their conduct was described as incompatible with military standards. He noted that some of the officers had been under jurisdiction for various offenses and were either awaiting or undergoing trial. He further stressed that the military would not tolerate behavior that undermines its integrity or threatens its constitutional role. The Lagos State government has ordered the indefinite closure of Itedo market in Lekki over persistent environmental violations and unauthorized roadside trading. Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, disclosed the development in a statement posted on his official X handle on Saturday. He revealed that 5 persons were arrested during the enforcement operation for violating state laws. Wahab explained that the closure followed repeated warnings to traders who continue to ignore environmental regulations. The clampdown is part of the state's wider enforcement campaign targeting environmental infractions and unauthorized trading along major markets, highways, and public spaces across Lagos. Members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, IMN, have staged a peaceful protest in Kaduna calling for an end to the ongoing war in Gaza, which has displaced and killed many Palestinians. The protesters, who marched through major streets in the Kaduna metropolis, urged the Nigerian government to sever diplomatic ties with Israel over what they described as continued aggression against the people of Palestine.
Yeah, Nigeria has many things in common with Palestine. Number one,
We are all human beings. Humanity first. That is first. Secondly, Islam. But the most important thing even about Palestine is about humanity. This protest is being staged not only here in Nigeria but everywhere in the world, including United States of America, Britain and France. We are calling for the government of Nigeria in the first place to completely cut any kind of diplomatic ties with Israel. Because what we have heard recently about them is that Nigerian government under the leadership of Bola Ahmed Tinubu have decided to now restore diplomatic relations and even going to the extent of entering into a defense and military pact with Israel. And we condemn this one in totality. Yes.
On Trust TV, let's take another short break, and when we return, business, foreign and sports. Do stay with us.
In a fast-paced world, some things remain timeless.
Welcome to Daybreak on Trust TV, your essential morning program designed to kickstart your day with the right blend of information. As you rise and shine, make Daybreak a part of your daily routine and ensure you stay informed with developments around the world. We delve into the stories that resonate with you. Our seasoned experts bring you the latest news updates, insightful analysis, and in-depth discussions, with our commitment to delivering quality content that informs, educates, and connects.
Prior to now, Nigeria had been a very key player.
In a world where every second counts, staying informed is your greatest asset. Welcome to Business Daily on Trust TV, your source for the latest financial insight and expert analysis.
If you look at that data also, you will notice that the export of Nigeria to Africa is still very small.
The law says any player that has more than 40% of the market share is dominant.
At Business Daily, we bring you credible and authoritative insights, economic policies, and investment opportunities that matter most to you.
Nigeria has a very great potential. We have recognized the need to reform our economic program, and we're doing so.
They address the happenings around the globe in the world of business, from emerging markets to established economies.
If you want your currency to float, you must have something to sell.
Join us every day from Monday to Friday for Business Daily and Trust TV. Together, let's document the Nigerian story while keeping you informed about global business trends.
Welcome back. Let's get to business. President Bola Tinubu is scheduled to inaugurate the $400 million Otakibo onshore crude oil export terminal in Rivers State on October 8th, the first new crude export facility to be built in Nigeria in over 50 years. The facility, developed by Green Energy International Limited, operators of the Otakibo field in OML 11, Ikuru Town and Doni local government area of Rivers State, is the first wholly indigenous onshore terminal built in Nigeria. The last such facility, the Forcados Terminal, was commissioned in 1971. According to a statement signed by Jill's Executive Director of Legal and Corporate Services, Olusegun Ilori, the terminal aligns with President Tinubu's drive to boost crude oil production and address Nigeria's long-standing evacuation challenges. The Otakibo terminal is expected to serve as a lifeline to more than 40 stranded oil fields by providing a reliable evacuation outlet, potentially unlocking millions of barrels of crude previously trapped underground. with an initial storage capacity of 750,000 barrels, expandable to 3 million barrels, and a loading capacity of 360,000 barrels per day. The facility is also projected to significantly reduce production costs for indigenous producers. Away from Nigeria, 6 people arrested on suspicion of terrorism-linked offences after a fatal car ramming and knife attack on a UK synagogue remained in police custody on Saturday, as Prime Minister Keir Starmer urged people not to take part in pro-Palestinian protests. 2 people were killed and 3 others seriously wounded in Thursday's attack in northwestern Manchester on Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the Jewish calendar. 3 men and 3 women are in custody. The attack has heightened fear among Britain's Jewish community. Police said they were patrolling places of worship across the city with a particular focus on providing a high visibility presence within Jewish communities. The attack on Hitton Park Hebrew Congregation Synagogue in North Manchester was one of the worst anti-Semitic incidents in Europe since the October 7, 2023 attack in Israel led by Palestinian Islamist group Hamas. Still on the foreign scene, Israeli attacks across the Gaza Strip have killed at least 46 Palestinians so far this Saturday alone, even as U.S. President Donald Trump says Israel has temporarily stopped the bombing in order to give his plan a chance. It comes after Hamas submitted its response to Trump's Gaza plan, with the group agreeing to hand over administration of the territory to Palestinian technocrats and free all Israeli captives in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. The group's response did not address the crucial issue of its disarmament, but it said it was willing to immediately enter negotiations through mediators. Israel's war on Gaza has killed at least 67,074 people and wounded over 160,000 since October 2023. Thousands more are believed to be buried under the rubble. A total of 1,139 people were killed in Israel during the October 7, 2023 attacks, and about 200 were taken captive. Up next are sports news, and Trust TV's Adenia Shefa is standing by with the latest in the world of sports.
Chief of Naval Staff Volleyball Team has emerged as the winner in the men's category of the Comptroller General of Customs Volleyball League Phase 1. The CNS team leads with 29 points, followed by Nigerian Customs Service with 25 points, while Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC are third with 25 points. The Chief of Army Staff sits in the 4th position with 23 points. In the women's category, Nigerian Customs Service finished top with 33 points, ahead of NSCDC, who came second with 29 points, while Chief of Naval Staff are third with 27 points. Chief of Army Staff women came fourth with 24 points to end the Phase 1. And in Scrabble, current continental champion Oluwatimileyin Doko topped the list of 15 Scrabble players selected to represent Nigeria at the World English Scrabble Players Association Westpac Championship in Accra, Ghana. Winner of 2025 Lekki Scrabble Classics, Abdulmumin Jimo, Syria champion John Ayedu, as well as Team Nigerian's captain to the last West African Scrabble Championship and National Sports Festival gold medalist Ben Quickpen. Emmanuel Egbele annual Scrabble tournament winner Emmanuel Umojose. Others are Tega Okemote, making a return after his African Games experience. Victor Godwin, winner of the 1st edition of Panasa President's Cup. 2 brothers, John and Peter Eboma, will also represent Nigeria for the 4th time in the history of Nigerian's participation at the Scrabble World Championship, featuring 2 brothers. The Eboma brothers secured their places in the team, finishing second and third at the last chance national qualifier in Abuja. NSF green jacket holder George Ezinore, Samuel Adebola, and Chinedu Top are other members of Team Nigeria who will be seeking to write their names in gold. Hand fighter Larry Etua, former African champion Rex Ogbapa, and the most decorated female Scrabble player of all time in Africa, Toyo Mayoko, complete the Scrabble squad. The Nigerian Scrabble team will camp in Lagos ahead of their departure to Ghana on the 9th of November. While in camp, members of Team Nigeria will test their mind at the May Day edition of Lagos Unified Scrabble Meet. At the last World Cup Championship in Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, Team Nigeria came second in the country event, and former world champion Wellington Jigere finished 4th in individual category. That's Sport News. I'm Adeniyi Ajisafe.
Just before we go, President Bola Tinubu has called on Nigerians to shun religious and ethnic differences. He also urged the citizens to be peaceful and unite for the progress and growth of the nation. The President made the call on Saturday in Jos, the Plateau State capital, while speaking at the funeral service of Nana Yilwadda, mother of the national chairman of the Progressives Congress, APC, stressing the need for harmonious coexistence among adherents of different religions. The president said, "I inherited Islam from my family. I didn't change, but my wife is a pastor and she prays for me at all times." Also speaking, Governor Caleb Muthwang identified insecurity as a major setback to the growth of Plateau State and assured that his administration had put modalities in place to promote peaceful coexistence and tranquility in the state. Earlier, National Chairman of APC, Professor Nentawe Yotwade, said that his mother was a dedicated, committed and loving wife who largely lived a life of service to humanity. Nana Lydia died at the age of 83 and was interred in Dungong Kanke local government area of the state. May her soul rest in peace. And that concludes News Hour tonight on Trust TV. For more of our news programs, documentaries, do watch us on social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. On behalf of the news production team, thank you for joining us tonight. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Good night.